Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome to another episode of Matchmaking Academy, where you are the star for all the wrong reasons, but don't worry, we're going to help you figure out what those reasons are so you can improve at Counter-Strike Global Defensive. Our hero today is Electric Shard. He's a Master Guardian 1 player, that's here, and his favorite fish is the puffer fish. Now, you gotta be careful when you eat those things. We all saw that Simpsons episode. And he had some questions about how to play mid on cash, specifically here in this round, how to deal with players who have jumped around the side. Hey, he got a frag. Oh, what a noob! All right, well, let's hop over to the next round. So this round, he specifically had questions about an anti-eco. We're going to talk about playing mid here in just a second and his mistakes there. What kind of a smoke? Why? What have you done? I guess he meant to just throw that at middle. So, luckily, thanks to a baddie, he's able to grab an AK-47 here, and you gotta be prepared for this. You know what's happening next, buddy. You gotta pay attention to that. And he gets killed from the guy boosting over once again. So I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop in game very briefly here and talk about how to play mid and deal with these two positions that you gotta watch at the same time. The boost, as well as the warehouse. I'm a counter-terrorist, and I want to play mid on cash. Now, mid on cash, you got to worry about two entry points. The first is this boost spot here, and the second is the doorway. It's actually a very difficult and nuanced spot to play because there's so many different places you can play it from, so many different ways based upon the scenario. When players boost up here, the thing you got to worry about the most is when they sneak over here and come down, and from here, they can sneak up right beside you. So if you're playing in any of these positions, you have to watch out for a player making their way up the side here, sneaky beaky like, and walking. Now, two smokes, or rather a smoke and a Molotov you should be aware of. The first one, very obvious, to block off the entranceway. This should probably be thrown every single round. This is kind of the opening smoke that gets things going. As you're running through here, you want to aim before this pallet thing on the ground. I don't know what this thing, let's check it out. Okay, it's a big metal. Is that metal? Or is that concrete? No, that's like a metal slab. All right. You got to aim like before the metal slab as you're running. So as you come out here, then you throw it. And it lands right in the middle of the doorway. Players on this side, really difficult to deal with. They may try to shoot through it. Try to get a few shots on you here. So you also got to worry about that. Wall banging and everything like that. Now, once this smoke is down, you still got to watch it because sometimes players will try to sneak out and go through the smoke and get over to this area here where they feel a little bit safer. And from here they have entry into B, so you have to keep watching that smoke. And at the same time, this does make it easier to watch this position. Now, let's talk about the Molotov you got to throw as well, as you pretty much can split this up. So one player can throw the Molotov, one can throw the smoke. And you only really need to use the Molotov if you think they're going to rush up there, like they did in the round inside of the game we were talking about. So as you're running out here, a good way to throw this Molotov, one thing to keep in mind, you have to land it on this thing right here. If you try to hit this, it'll bounce all over the place. Because that's pretty much just like a wall here, even though you can stand on it. So to land it there, the way that I found out that works pretty well, you see this kind of point at the top here? I aim at that point, and as soon as I enter the threshold of this doorway, I throw. And that should land right here, and it should spread just enough so that you can't boost up here as well. Very good Molotov to delay that push. Now, when we're talking about this smoke, you should re-smoke that as well. So the first player to throw that smoke, another player, whoever's playing this position, forklift or up there, or just over here at the spools or the highway, should throw it to re-smoke. And double smoking that, the amount of time that goes by, should be enough to where the action is going to be happening. You've kind of denied the mid push for a very good period of time that it makes it actually useful for them to take mid really quickly. Okay, so let's talk about different ways to play it. The most obvious one is right here, all right, inside of Z. This position is called Z. You can watch this like this, move back and forth, and every once in a while just check. Just check it out. Now, this is dangerous. Every time you check, if they peek, you're in terrible, terrible danger. And this is why this becomes a very nuanced and a dangerous position. The next one you can play is up here at Sandbags. This one's very common. Sandbags makes it much easier to watch this boosty spot. So if they've been boosting a lot, Sandbags might be a good one. The negative to this is that once they sneak out, you're in terrible, terrible danger because they can run over here. And then, of course, you can have your player helping you out at highway. But again, they can move over and kill you from above. And this is a really kind of awkward spot to deal with, as well as players moving from over here. The next spot is over here at highway. This is probably the most... This spot's really good if you want to also play A. So a lot of times you'll have a highway player and a mid player. So the highway player can actually, if there's nothing going on over here at A and the guy doesn't see anything, he can play kind of a spot like this, and then every once in a while he can come over here and kind of help out the mid player if they're pushing it. So you can have 2 players here just in case. Or if you want to be a solo mid player, you can play this position as well. You can jump up on top of this spool and play this spot here. If they're trying to sneak up, you can actually jump here and you'll be able to see their head. Or just play this spot right here. The danger of this spot is that it's really, really abusable to players creeping up here and getting really close. However, this is a very common spot, and players like to sit right here. So if you're playing middle, look for that spot as you come out here. This is like the first spot you generally look at is right there. Then the next one's like right there. So you always got to keep watch for that. One thing you can do in this position, which is nice, is if you smoked out middle, you can jump up here and hold the boost spot, and you can even hold the boost spot from here. And you can see, even if players are trying to hide, it makes it like really crazy to deal with. And while this smoke is here, you're assuming nobody's going to push out. They're not aware that you're way up here. So that's a really nice spot. You can also like do I think you can jump onto that thing, but it's really difficult, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it. The next one requires the smoke. So you're running out, you throw the smoke, you keep running. I suggest not running and hugging this corner because a lot of players will wall bang through right there. So I go a little bit to the side, move out here, and take a close position. You can either take a close position here, or you can take a close position on the other side. And this is a nice spot. You can watch when players boost up. It's an easy little headshot too. Also, CTs can do a counter boost. If you push 2 players up, like on an eco round, you can duck, another player can boost the other one over, and you can catch them by surprise if they keep doing that boost. Now, this is a really good spot up close for hearing. This will give you a positional advantage, or rather, it'll give you more intel. Because when you're close, you're able to hear everything up to this point inside of A main. So you're able to hear if they run into A main. You're able to hear everything inside a warehouse, and you'll generally be able to hear if they move this way into bomb site B. So if they're doing a B rush or anything like that, being in a position like up close like this, you'll be able to hear them moving in there, and you'll be able to call it for your teammates. So that's another great spot. Oh, there's one more we didn't talk about. This one's actually really, really, really useful if they do like to push out middle and if they are planning a mid to B. This one's great, and you can also hold B from this one. So you shoot this out on your side. You should like have a smoke down, because as you try to do this, a lot of times an opper on this side who's playing this position, if he's moved all the way out here, he can watch right here, and it's kind of dangerous to deal with. But either way, you want to boost one of your players here. So it takes 2 players. One CT moves in, one boosts the other one up inside of the vents. You don't even have to break the vents, and you can hold both of these spots from here. It's a little bit difficult to see the top position because the bar is like right in the way, but you can hold right down here. And this one, you can get a lot of frags from this one, and then boom, turn around and you're ready to hold off B as well. This is a very nice position to be in, and it's one they usually don't expect. All right, so those are all the different places you can hold and play mid from. I hope that is helpful. It's like a little like oh, one more thing I guess we could add to this, as I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Losing mid control is not the worst thing in the world. While you are the mid player, your job is to hold off mid, and be great if you got a kill or a peek or a pick or anything like that. You losing your life is really bad. If you die, Ts have great control. So a lot of times if they push out mid, you might just want to fall back, like if you're this player. Fall back here into the site. Your players over inside of A can help you as well, and don't allow them to take any more position here as well. Just allowing them to have this position, if you're not able to hold it, actually makes sense. So if you see like a bunch of Molotovs and a bunch of flashes coming over, and you know they're going to put all of their forces to try to take mid control, I would say tell your teammate what's going on. You can try to go for a pick as they move out, but again, try to fall back, and sometimes you just let them have it, and then prepare. Like now you know, okay, they're in middle. We probably got to watch checkers. We can sneak a player back here and watch them as they try to push in. Bunch of different ways to deal with that. But again, not the worst thing in the world. It is a huge positional advantage to the terrorists once they get mid control, because it opens up A takes and B takes. So that's something you got to watch out for. I hope that helped, buddy. But yeah, the main thing is you have to keep every once in a while, while you're holding this position right here, just check. Every once in a while, just check. Just check it a little bit and see if somebody is creeping up on you, and then act accordingly. If you're like in trouble, you can be like, whoa, ho, he, you, who, ha, who, and get the heck out of there. But either way, yeah, just make sure you got to watch both of these positions at the same time, or just get a buddy. Like, I could play from Sandbags right here and hold that spot, and this player could play right here and hold this spot. And then we got mid down. And this A player, if something happens over at A, he can fall over here, and he can watch the door from this position, or even sneak up this ladder, which is really nice, and get people entering into the site. Yeah, we learned things. Now listen carefully here. Footsteps, footsteps. All of them into B. Nobody's rotating. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, what just happened there? This player was in a position to listen and hear and try to tell his teammates what was going on and completely drop the ball. This part of team communication is a big deal. So when you're in a position like this, we talked about this previously in our tutorial series about where you can hear. This was a spot we talked about a lot. The player who smokes off the middle here, pushes down and holds this position. His range is about here. So he is able to hear this entire area. He's able to hear players moving out into bomb site B. And we did hear those thump, thump, thump of the footsteps. So because you have this forward position and because you're able to hear, I think it's actually here and all of this, you're able to hear, like, if they're going into A main, if they're going through the warehouse, as well as if they're trying to go B. They can't really mask that unless they're walking, and they were not walking. He should have been able to call it, tell his teammates, already start that rotate prematurely because there were a lot of footsteps happening. That was a big mistake. Now, he had a question here about retaking B, so we're going to continue the round. Even though the mistake has already been done, we see it's 4 versus 3, a very difficult retake. We're not even going to comment about the weapon choices of both teams here. We're just going to let that kind of slide this time. Why do you do this to me, guys? Why do you do I can't do it I can't do this anymore. All right. And now puts into a 3 versus 3. This is a doable retake. Even at this point, one of their players, your mom, I'll try to prevent making your mom jokes. We know how that ends up in fist fights and stuff. Anyway, very, very long rotate. Just a little mistake like that. Should have already been rotating it in position here with Jagged maybe to help out. Not sure why he went all the way over there when the bomb was clearly in bomb site B. So here he goes trying to enter. Has 2 players to deal with. Very obvious where this first one is. And you have to assume that the other one is in the site somewhere. Or checkers. But he's got his back completely turned to checkers. So maybe not aware of that as well. And okay. Team flash going down. Again, just a little bit of team coordination issues. That was a really good flash if Electric Shard was aware of it. So his teammates should have called out, like, flashing, and Electric Shard could have turned when that thing was coming down. But that did not happen. So he's got to wait here. And trying to enter into the site. And you know what? That was fine. He was able to get 2 frags as he moved in there. It just all had to do with this team's coordination. And I know that's something really difficult to do when you're just solo queuing or working with people you don't normally work with. But it is something you got to think about while you're playing the game. So it's sort of a cautionary tale to all of you guys. He's not going to get this defuse. When you're playing with teammates, no matter who they are, you have to play as a team, even if you don't know them, and get in a position to help and communicate, and you can just do it on the fly. That is totally possible. Look at the avatars. It's like Anime Central going on down here, except for the very out-of-place Cardinals fan. I bet he's having a great time with these guys. Thank you folks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I let you guys choose the Owl Vision, so here you go. Let's get an Owl Vision. That was your Owl Vision. We gotta make the Owl Vision optional from hence onward. Nah, that was fun. That was fine. Thank you, Electric Shard, for sending this in. Thank you all you guys for all your support and all that craziness. I'm the TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. You want an Owl Vision? Here's my Owl Vision. Be proud, ladies and gentlemen. Be proud of your frags.